This is ABC 7 News at 6.
In 2019, Governor Janet Mills signed into law a bill that did away with the Columbus Day designation, establishing today's holiday as Indigenous Peoples Day in the state of Maine. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones.
And I'm Devin Dagnall. Today, in observance of the holiday, Governor Janet Mills released a statement saying, quote, "Today we honor the first stewards of this extraordinary place we now call Maine. For thousands of years, the Wabanaki nations, the people of the Dawnland, have shaped the character, culture, and identity of the home we share. On Indigenous Peoples Day, I ask all Maine people to join in recommitting to building a shared future with Maine's tribal nations that is rooted in mutual trust, respect, and collaboration."
Well, the Abbey Museum in Bar Harbor offered free admissions in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day. The Smithsonian-affiliated museum has offered free admission on Indigenous Peoples Day for the past 5 years to make the culture of the Penobscot Nation accessible to anyone who would like to learn about it. Abbey Museum Curator of Education Christian Becker says teaching others the culture and history of Maine's tribes ensures their stories will be known for generations.
What I'm really hoping for is that when people are learning about our cultures and traditions, that they're also learning that we still exist today, and that those traditions are passed down to the younger generation so that we can still remember, but not always are we still, living in wigwams. We're not always commuting by canoe either, but those traditions are passed down so that we can remember them and that we can give them to the youth and our younger generations.
Well, for more information about Abbey Museum, you can look for this story on our website. That's foxbangor.com.
In other news, the U.S. Coast Guard is actively investigating a series of hoax calls they received over the weekend out of the Southwest Harbor area. Officials are asking the public to help identify the suspect. Our Grace Blanchard has more.
On Friday, the United States Coast Guard received an emergency call from what appeared to be a young mariner in trouble. But after thorough search efforts, the Coast Guard and local authorities determined there was nobody in distress, though the calls continued for the next 2 days.
Search and rescue is our sacred trust with the public, so we take every Mayday distress call very seriously, so we responded appropriately.
The calls came in on VHF Channel 16, which is for international hailing and distress only. Officials say knowingly transmitting false distress calls is a federal crime and can be punishable by up to 10 years in prison.
When these fake hoax transmissions, essentially non-distress calls that appear to be distress, as the Coast Guard, we take it extremely seriously.
Through direction-finding technology, they have narrowed their search radius in the Southwest Harbor area.
If it comes down to it, we're willing to risk our lives to save people, absolutely.
The town's harbor master says these acts exhaust resources and put others at risk.
So dangerous to be doing these stunts, and if we can identify the young man or young lady that participated in this, then we can educate them on why they shouldn't be doing it.
Anyone with information is being asked to contact Coast Guard Investigative Services. Further details can be found on our website, foxbangor.com. In Southwest Harbor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
According to Maine's two major power companies, a combined 145,000 outages were reported as a result of Saturday's windstorm. Our Doug Banks now has the latest.
You just don't think about the trees until something like that happens.
With winds upwards of 50 miles per hour on Saturday, thousands of Mainers were left without power.
When the leaves are in the trees, they almost turn into giant sails. They catch that wind, and it really puts strain on the tree and the root system.
Because the ground is not yet frozen and the trees are more susceptible to falling down and unfortunately bringing lines down with them.
On Saturday, CMP reported a high of 125,000 outages. Breed says a vast majority of those were resolved by Sunday, and as of Monday afternoon, that number was down to 200. For Versant, they reported 20,000 outages at their peak. Miners says that number was cut in half by the afternoon, with only 50 outages as of Monday. One local organization sprang into action when Saturday's powerful winds brought down a tree onto Center Street in Bangor.
Like I said, I don't really think about the trees when you're here in the city.
When Fresh Start Sober Living's general manager arrived Saturday morning to find a portion of the tree down, he went home to grab his saw.
I left and was gone for about maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. When I got back, another very large portion of the tree had broken off.
Rick Rhodes says on Sunday a third portion of the tree broke off and fell onto a parked car. No one was hurt, and with some helping hands, the debris was gone by the end of the day.
We're just fortunate that nobody was injured, and the tree come down now, and the weather's still good enough to to get out there. Nobody's got to be out there messing around in the snow and ice.
In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, across Maine and across the country, access to affordable housing in rural communities is an issue affecting many families. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard spoke with Senator Angus King about legislation he is working on to help solve the problem.
One law that Congress can't repeal or amend is the law of supply and demand.
According to the Maine State Housing Authority, we currently face a housing deficit of 84,000 housing units, and the problem is only expected to keep growing unless more can be done, leading to rising housing costs.
And when you have that big a shortage, that means that the supply you do have is going to be more expensive. I mean, that's just the way economics works.
Senator King says there's no simple answer to solve this issue, like a silver bullet, which is why he's implementing what he calls a silver buckshot approach by crafting multiple pieces of legislation surrounding rural affordable housing, the cornerstone being the Farmhouse to Workforce Housing Bill.
And the idea is to provide funding through an existing federal program, but to expand it significantly so people that live in these large old houses in rural areas can have the funds to renovate them, add 2 or 3 apartments, get some income, but also create workforce housing where it's really desperately needed.
Another piece of legislation is about giving back to those who sacrifice the most for our communities.
For teachers and first responders, buying their first house, no down payment, no federal money, but no down payment. The difference would be they'd pay an upfront mortgage insurance fee of 2 or 3%, but that's a lot better than 20%.
In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Sears Island's undeveloped state-owned land is still the best place to build an offshore wind port. That is the finding of a new study by the Maine Department of Transportation. The 107-page analysis looked at Sears Island along with proposed alternatives like Mack Point and concluded that building on Mack Point would be too expensive, complicated, and harmful to the environment. According to the report, the cost to develop Sears Island would be around $525 million. Compared to the $614 million price tag to retrofit Mack Point. To read the full report, you can visit our website, foxbangor.com.
Native Americans for Harris Wolves is a national organizing program aiming to engage with Native American communities and voters. Today, Maine tribal leaders and members of the community gathered to launch a coalition of their own. The Maine Native Americans for Harris Wolves coalition kicked off at the Bangor Coordinated Campaign Office. The event featured multiple speakers, including the former Penobscot Nation Tribal Ambassador and current Wabanaki Alliance Executive Director, Mullian Bryant.
I hope that we can set a good example that even though we're a smaller population, our voice really matters, and the right to vote is a sacred thing that we fought hard for.
Bryant says she hopes this coalition empowers Wabanaki and Indigenous people in Maine to go out and vote.
And Election Day creeping ever and ever closer, so
absolutely.
Yeah, I hope everybody's getting registered and ready to get out there.
Oh yeah, you can sign up online. Still a few more days for that, so get out there on maine.gov.
Right.
Easy enough to do it.
Or just, go there for the voting day party on the day of. All right, well, let's go ahead and get a first check of our forecast.
All right, Beth and Devin, thank you. Your first weather is brought to you by Old Town Redemption, offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Let's talk weather, and today, one of those days, right? Look at these high temperatures. 49 here in Bangor today, also for Bar Harbor, 44 for Millinocket, so a cool day today. The average high is still in the mid-upper 50s. All of us were below that today, but warmer temperatures are in the forecast. The wind out there also out of the northeast, gusting near 20 today, making it feel even cooler with the rain showers out there as well. But all of this gets out of here overnight. Tonight, tomorrow, we'll bring back some sunshine back in the forecast for tomorrow with slowly warming temperatures across the area as well. But all of this has to kind of slide through tonight. So showers ending most likely after midnight tonight. Our forecast going forward, though, is mostly cloudy skies after midnight, low temperatures down in the 30s. Your full forecast is coming up. Beth and Devin?
Thanks, Jeff. Coming up on ABC 7 News at 6, the fate of many historic buildings in Maine will be decided on Election Day.
And we'll have all the information you need to know for this year's Mount Desert Island Marathon. We'll have those stories and much more as ABC 7 News at 6 continues.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
A new law that outlawed abortion past 6 weeks in all cases.
These laws make me sick and heartbroken.
The government shouldn't be in the examining room.
It's extremists that don't allow women to have choice.
It's none of your business.
Austin Terrio is on the same side as the extremists who want to have a national abortion ban.
And these extremists, they're going to try to control women.
What else will they ban? What else will they monitor? What other privacy will we lose? Austin Terrio scares me.
The Sylvia Ross Home in Bangor provides 5 professional levels of care and support for residents. We have access to a registered nurse on campus 24/7. Our weekly entertainment consists of a variety of live musical performances and bingo games twice a week. Our on-site beauty salon is available with a professional stylist, and we have 2 libraries that offer computers and Wi-Fi. Sylvia Ross Home is a warm, welcoming community. Please join us anytime for a tour and lunch.
Mitch and Cam switched phones, and now the family chat's gone green, and all the photos are blurry.
So the kids stopped replying. They barely even visit anymore. Kids! Kids!
Problem reaching your kids? Yeah, I see it a lot. Try WhatsApp. It's great for any phone, and it's private.
The kids are responding again.
What does IYKYK mean?
If you know, you know.
Well, if I knew, I wouldn't be asking. You know? Got another one. I got another one!
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
Big drug companies were ripping off diabetics like me. Jared Golden knew that was wrong, and he voted to cap insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Not Austin Terrio. He said the bill Jared supported wouldn't help everyday middle-class people like me. Terrio isn't even in Congress yet, and he's already out of touch and is on the record opposing benefits for seniors on Medicare. We can't afford Austin Terrio.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
On Election Day, Maine voters will say yes or no to 5 referendum questions. Question 3 asks voters if they favor a $10 million bond to restore historic buildings owned by the government or nonprofit organizations. However, that $10 million bond comes with a contingency that a 25% local match be made by either a private or nonprofit source. The chair of the Sangerville Select Board says he would like to see Mainers vote in favor of Question 3 so it can save historic buildings like the Sangerville Town Hall.
Question 3 directly relates to this project and others like it around the state. I'm really hopeful that that passes.
Well, to read each referendum question on the upcoming November ballot, you can log on to maine.gov.
Mount Desert Island is expecting a big influx of people this coming weekend. The MDI Marathon is being held on Sunday. The race starts in Bar Harbor and winds through all the towns on the island before ending in Southwest Harbor. They are expecting more than 2,500 runners, along with their families, support teams, and the people who come just to watch.
The marathon weekend has always been sort of the last big weekend of the season for us, so we're really excited to have that happening here in Southwest Harbor.
The mission for me personally is to have runners leave more than footprints in the communities where they come to run.
The Chamber of Commerce is planning a festival at the finish line in Southwest Harbor. There will be beer, live music, and crafters to provide a taste of local flavor. Stores on Main Street will be open all day. A bus will shuttle runners to Bar Harbor. Organizers say they are already planning next year's festivals at the finish line.
Well, here's hoping Mother Nature cooperates.
Fingers crossed.
Indeed. Well, still to come on ABC 7 News at 6, our Jody Hersey caught up with 2 families who took their children's education into their own hands.
And in sports, Maine football is looking to rebound after a tough loss to Delaware. That story is right after the break.
I work 60 hours a week, and I live with my father. You can't get an apartment by yourself anymore. Jared Golden and liberals in Congress are giving free housing to illegal immigrants. That is not fair. Jared Golden says one thing here in Maine and then goes to DC and does something different. He's made life here in Maine even harder.
Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Does your dream kitchen look like this? Or this? Or maybe you need a little more inspiration? Get it when you explore the complete in-store showroom displays at Hammond Lumber Company. When you find the look you like, the Hammond team will help you customize it, including accurate 3D renderings, so you can visualize your project before the work begins. Hammond offers delivery from any of the locations across Maine and New Hampshire and professional service after the sale. Your dream kitchen begins when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Remember the fun of family game night with Monopoly?
I'm gonna put 2 hotels on Boardwalk.
You can't do that.
Really? Are you kidding me?
Well, now there's a new way to play with 2 new Monopoly tickets from the Maine Lottery. There's a fast play game with a top prize of $250,000 and an instant ticket with bonus chances to win.
My turn again.
Hey, look at this. It's all the excitement of Monopoly, but with real money.
Here are the stars of our show.
I am your host, Ryan Seacrest.
The Wheel You Love is back.
Yes! Let's have some fun.
This season will truly be unlike any other.
This has never happened before on Wheel of Fortune.
With bigger trips.
Yeah, baby.
Bigger prizes.
I'd love to take you backstage to the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
And bigger surprises.
There it is.
What a great show!
Let's do it again tomorrow.
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7. Tonight's Sports is brought to you by Hamlin's Marine, located in Hamden and Waterville, celebrating 40 years, serving all of eastern and central Maine.
Welcome back in, folks. We'll start on the gridiron as Maine football is looking to rebound after their road loss to undefeated Delaware on Saturday. Maine, coming off their bye week, fell by a score of 44-21 to the Blue Hens. Maine brought the deficit down to single digits in the fourth quarter before a pick-6 would seal the game for Delaware. On his Monday CAA conference call, Coach Stevens said he was encouraged by the way his team began the game. After losing the turnover battle 4-0, however, he'd like to see his team play more complementary football moving forward.
I thought the guys came out ready to play. I thought we started better than we had shown previous weeks. Which was really good to see, and got a great finish to the first half on our defense. But didn't really play complementary football. And I think we're certainly a team that needs to play well on both sides of the ball to be in the game, to be competitive and be in a position to win. And I think we feed off each other. And
Stevens says the beauty of football is that you get another opportunity this week. Maine will return to Alphonse Stadium for a homecoming matchup with number 5 ranked Villanova. And Stevens says his team has another challenge on their hands.
The players did a great job this morning coming out, and then, we've kind of turned the page and moved on to Villanova. This is a very good football team and an experienced football team and undefeated in FCS play. And, coming here and, the big thing I think is just like, it doesn't matter where we play. This team's going to be ready to play football. This team's going to be prepared.
That's a 1 p.m. kick for homecoming on Saturday, but the tailgating starts much before then. From college to the pros now, the Patriots will be in London on Sunday morning to battle the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a late breakfast tee-off, 9:30 a.m. It'll be game 2 of the Drake May era. Yesterday at Gillette, the 22-year-old rookie quarterback making his first career NFL start lit up the Foxborough skies for 243 passing yards, 3 touchdowns to go along with 2 interceptions. And the Pats would end up losing 41-21 to a very talented Houston Texans team. But May's performance gave Patriot fans hope for the future. May talked about the amazing support he received in Foxborough.
The biggest thing is having those guys around me. They were great, pumping me up. Coaches, defense, the guys around me were great trying to settle me down, and Jacoby, was a big part of that.
It was his first start. Obviously, here at home, there was a lot of expectations on him. I thought he handled it well, so got to build on it.
Future looking bright at the quarterback position for the Pats. We'll finish over in Bucksport now, where the Bucks hosted NYA in a volleyball matinee. We pick it up in the third set. It was a very nice day for volleyball, gloomy and rainy outside. Bring it right inside into the gymnasium. Bucks already up 2-0, but they find themselves back in this one. NYA started off hot, and that will continue as Helen Kalinich hits a knuckleball that drops down for a point. However, the Bucks would go on a 20-9 run after that. Natalie Simpson buries the ace, and aces were the story of the third set. Now it's Grace Furley who hits the serve that drops perfectly in there for another ace, and I think you know where we're going with this one. On the last point of the match, it's Paige Bowden's turn as she calls game with this ace right here. That one ends up hitting NYA's side of the net. Bucksport would go on to win by a score of 3-0. That's all the time we have for sports tonight. Here's your full 5-day forecast.
Thank you. Your full weather is brought to you by Old Town Redemption, offering a 10% bonus on returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. And today was just one of those days, right? Lots of rain showers out there, a cool northeast wind. Yeah, temperatures hanging out in the 40s to low 50s. It felt a lot like fall out there today, but the showers will be ending tonight. Highs today, 49 here in Bangor, 44 for Millinocket, so a cold day for us today. The average highs being mid-50s. All of us were below that across our region for today. But there is warmer temperatures back to our south and west. Those are going to stay there, though. We are in this area here, the blue, right? Keeping things a bit cooler on here this week, but slightly warmer temperatures are on the way. The wind was also a factor today, too, out of the northeast, gusting near 25 throughout the afternoon, making it feel even cooler and raw out there. And thus, our favorite, a small craft advisory as well for wave heights out here approaching 8 to 10 feet through Wednesday morning. Okay, so visibility is also reduced across the area now. Some fog and drizzle out there. If you're driving around tonight, be careful, please. The roads are wet and they also have leaves on them as well, making things very slippery across the region. All right, all due to this, right? So lots of rain showers out there now. Now there's nothing heavy in here, but it is persistent. Some drizzle and light rain showers in there as well. This will all kind of rotate through tonight, and it should be out of here shortly after midnight-ish. And then tomorrow, we'll have decreasing clouds throughout the day. It's a little bit cool for us tomorrow as well. But overall, kind of a drier stretch on the way as high pressure is going to build in. So rain showers tonight, ending overnight, drier tomorrow with slowly warming temperatures across the region as well. So the whole thing kind of gets out of here tonight. Here's tomorrow, 11 o'clock or so. Showers back off to our west. They should stay there. We should get some partly cloudy skies across our region for tomorrow before it all kind of gets out of here on Wednesday for sure, with a very nice day Wednesday, but much cooler temperatures are on the way Wednesday night with a hard freeze back in the forecast for us Wednesday evening. Nice day for us on Thursday as well, with plenty of sunshine across the region Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday. A nice stretch of weather is on the way for sure until our next system gets in here later on Saturday and probably Sunday as well. So the rain looks like this. So after tonight, not much at all, right? Until probably after the weekend when our next weather system gets in here later Sunday into Monday. Our forecast though tonight though is showers ending, decreasing clouds late, low temperatures basically upper 30s to low 40s with that west breeze around 5. For tomorrow, all right, so lots of sunshine tomorrow, partly cloudy in there too. There could be a sprinkle early. Look for high temperatures back in the low 50s tomorrow. That's an improvement. With that west wind though still gusting near 20. Then looking ahead, your 5-day forecast shows 53 tomorrow. A bit cooler for us on Wednesday, partly cloudy. But then look, Thursday back in the mid 50s. Friday, plenty of sunshine, 60s. And those are mid-60s back in the forecast for the weekend.
All righty, Jeff, thank you.
Still more to come right after the break.
Jared Golden's biggest lie?
I'm a straight shooter.
But Golden wasn't straight with us. Golden reversed his position on gun control. Jared Golden flipped. Golden now supports a ban on the most commonly held rifle in the U.S. Golden's turned into another Washington politician. Golden's even backing the liberals' plan for a gun registry. Jared Golden is not one of us. The NRCC is responsible for the content of his advertising.
Mainers are tough as nails. And when it comes to quitting smoking or vaping, we don't give up. Because Mainers know every quit attempt is a step in the right direction. The Maine Quit Link offers free help to stop smoking and vaping, including personalized quit plans and free nicotine gum, patches, and lozenges. Because quitting tobacco with a little extra help is more successful than quitting cold turkey. Quit like a Mainer. Enroll online at MaineQuitLink.com or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
It's another exciting year of high school football in the state of Maine. Get out and support your home team and be looking for the ABC7 Sports Blitz crew. You can get a free Sports Blitz t-shirt, then watch Sports Blitz during ABC7 News at 11 every Friday night during the football season. Blitz shirts courtesy of
Colburn Shoe, Blue Alpaca Ranch and Store, Coastal Auto Parts, Front Street Shipyard, Hannaford Belfast, Pet Care by Lindsay, and Up in Smoke Fireworks.
Me and my co-workers get up and we go into work every day. Yet illegal immigrants in this state are getting things handed to them for free. Jared Golden voted to protect sanctuary cities instead of voting to help his own people. Jared Golden pretends to be a moderate, but he's not. Washington has exposed Jared Golden for what he truly is, a tax and spend, liberal, Democrat. He says one thing and does another.
Strategic Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Students and families all over Maine are looking at education differently these days, with some of them choosing homeschooling or hybrid schooling instead of attending a brick-and-mortar school daily for their education. Our Jody Hersey sat down with two families who say having these other options for their children's learning is beneficial.
Learning can happen and is happening everywhere at any point.
Unlike most, schooling looks different for the Johnson family of Herman. Both of Anna Johnson's oldest daughters are involved in hybrid schooling, where they attend Herman High School and Herman Middle School part-time and do homeschooling the rest of the time.
I'm actually going in on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then the other days I do my homeschool work, which consists of Spanish and art.
Homeschooling is for some people, but definitely not for everybody.
Both girls are active in school sports, participating in soccer, track, and swimming.
When you go into traditional schooling, you have this pressure of, I'm going because I need to learn A, B, and C, and I need to get this grade, rather than I am learning because it is a gift.
Over in Bangor, Corey Skull, who works full-time at Town Square Media, has chosen to homeschool two of her children, while her other two kids attend All Saints Catholic School.
My kids learn in different ways. My other two who work really well as independent learners, and they like to be able to, really deep dive into something that they find interesting or explore learning different things on their own.
Skull's son Noah gets to practice guitar and ballet thanks to homeschooling.
I started at school, then I went to homeschooling, then I went back to school, and now I'm back homeschooling again. So I've shifted from both experiences twice.
His sister Mary says traditional school is overwhelming for her, but homeschooling gives her the freedom to study subjects she might not otherwise get to study.
Well, I get to choose what languages I do. So right now I'm doing German and ASL.
Both families say there is no right way or wrong way to learn. It's whatever works best for your children. In Herman, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, this fall weekend was a bit sweeter with the return of the annual Maine Maple Fall Festival. Maple syrup is a much-loved staple here in our state. Maine is the third top producer in the United States, producing more than 575,000 gallons of syrup annually. For the past 5 years, the Maine Maple Producers Association has been hosting this festival to attract visitors from around the world to see Maine's fall foliage and enjoy one of the state's premier products. While producers don't tap trees or boil sap in autumn, organizers say now is the time to stock up on syrup for winter cooking and holiday gifts. More than 25 sugar houses across Maine participated, and more are expected to join in on the annual Maine Maple Sunday in March. To learn more, you can visit mainemapleproducers.com.
People always talk about signs of spring. Maine Maple Sunday is one of my favorite signs of spring.
I look forward to it every year.
Yes.
I'm already looking forward to it after seeing that. I'm got to go out and get some
Or
now.
just go get some maple candy and call it good.
Ooh, yeah, no,
Right?
it's a good thing to have in the fridge, just in case.
Just in case. You always want to have a stash on hand.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us from everyone here at ABC7 News. Take care and have a great night.
We'll see you later.
I've been on the water since I was 2 days old. Fished up and down the coast from Nantucket to Eastport. I've been paying into Medicare, Social Security my whole life, every paycheck. Those benefits should be there when we retire. But Austin, Ontario wants to join extremists in Congress, trying to cut Social Security and Medicare. I earned those benefits. Austin, Ontario should not be able to take those away.
DCCC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live Glow Party. Don't miss the world premiere of Stella Soul.